Okay, this is my topic. This is another example of the personal efforts for saving the world. After Jero's presentation. Also this is an experimental study, and it has been completed during the quite much during the summer holidays, so I should be paid more or get some other compensation. Okay, because this is a scientific study, it has this kind of form: introduction, experimental facility, introduction, and then arrangements, then results of the experiment, some discussion, and the conclusions. Okay, so I have this kind of car which uses natural gas or biogas as a fuel, and of course I have bought it because of my profession. I want to give my own effort also in practice to the saving of the world, and because I am a professor of waste management technology, I wanted to get this kind of a vehicle which can use fuel which is produced from waste, and that's the main reason. Aim of the study is to show that we have some possibilities to save the environment with the selection of the personal car and its fuel, and showing also the practical aspects of the choice. So we have in Finland less than 800 gas-operated vehicles, and the personal or passenger car share of those is something like 600. But in the Europe we have, there are more than one or about 1.3 million this kind of vehicles. So it is well-known technology. It has been used for a long time in the countries which have natural gas network. And in Finland, this is in the beginning of the development. We have no more than 16 filling stations for the gas-operated cars, and they are all in the south part of Finland. You can try if this works. Yes. This is the location of the filling stations. We have one in Lappeenrannan, it doesn't show here, but then Kouvola, Lahti, Porvoo, in the capital city area, several stations, and so on. So it is possible to fill the tank with the gas in quite many places, but of course this is a small amount of places compared to normal gasoline filling stations. In those filling stations it is possible to fill in natural gas or so-called biogas. Natural gas is of course a fossil fuel, and it comes from Russia, from the Siberia area, and then it produces statistically greenhouse gases like other fossil fuels. But then it is possible also to fill biogas or so-called biomethane, because it is produced in Finland. Biogas is possible to be bought as much as it is supplied to the gas networks. It is the analogy. There is an analogy between biogas selling and green energy, green electricity selling. So, because the biomethane is greenhouse gas neutral fuel, it has to be followed how much it is bought and produced. Biogas is produced by anaerobic digestion in the biogas plants mostly from waste, which means food waste, wastewater sludge, some garden waste possibly, and in the Finnish case also some part of field biomass which has been grown on the fields. So some kind of grass. Okay, this is my experimental facility. You can see the technical information there. This is Volkswagen, like you can see, and this car model has been or has achieved as a first car 5 stars in so-called eco test of the international FIA Foundation, which is an international association of the cars or something like that. The experiment was carried out between June and July, and the tank was always filled with biomethane. So you can see the performance information there. It is a normal passenger car. The acceleration from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour is a bit less than, or a bit more than 3 seconds, but I can survive with the performance of it. Okay, so my experiment was about the consumption of the gas in practice during that time, and also it was related to how much I can drive with the gas, 1 tank of gas in different conditions. The driving has been partly driving in city and partly driving in the highway, so the consumption is varying quite much from 4.2 kilograms to 6.2 kilograms per 100 kilometers, and the average has been about a bit more than 5 kilograms per 100 kilometers, and the price has been always the same, because the seller is one and the natural gas price is not varying so much. The variation of the biogas price is also slow. Then I have estimated the CO2 emissions. Here are the emissions if the gas was natural gas. So the average emissions have been 140 grams per kilometer for natural gas, according to those consumption numbers, and then there's the total CO2 emission. And then I have estimated some kind of life cycle emissions of the biomethane usage, because when the biogas is produced, we use some electricity and fossil fuels for the harvesting, for the transportation of the waste materials and so on. So I have taken some numbers from the study of Ville Uusitalo, who is a researcher in our research group in environmental technology, and I have got this kind of estimation for the emissions during the life cycle. So this is not well comparable with this, because this normal method to determine the CO2 emissions for certain fuel includes only the emissions from the fuel combustion, but this life cycle includes also the emissions from the production of the fuel. So with this method, the CO2 emission would be 0. But in the life cycle, it is about 20 grams per kilometer. So also for this number we can add something perhaps between 15 and 30% or 10 and 20% more, which is produced in the fuel production and transportation and so, those phases. Okay, there are some error sources for the results, but yes, from the results also I can pick the reduction of the greenhouse gases during this experiment period, 3,500 kilograms compared to the natural gas using this life cycle, or 3,000 kilograms was the reduction of the greenhouse gases, at least. And reduction in the fuel price or fuel costs was about 580 euros. Or not in this experimental period, but it was estimation for the total year with 25,000 kilometers and this kind of consumption. Okay, so there are some error sources. Starting and heating of the engine uses gasoline, few percentages. My guess is that it is at least less than 5% of the total consumption. Driving in the regions which are too far from gas filling possibilities, estimation 10%. Now I have driven about 6,000 kilometers with this car, and I think that less than 500 kilometers have been driven with the gasoline. And so some kind of rough estimation is that the reduction compared to natural gas is about 2.6 tons per year, and reduction compared to gasoline about 3 to 3.5 tons per year. So it is quite much, because the greenhouse gas emissions in Finland are about 75 million tons per year. Traffic causes 13.6 million tons, and it means that per inhabitant the traffic emissions are about 2.5 tons per year. So if I can say that in my family this car is used on average by 2 persons, then at least 50% reduction to the average traffic emissions per person are achieved with this kind of estimation. Biomethane is presently produced only in one place in Finland, in Kouvola. They have a biogas plant which refines the part of the biogas to biomethane and supply it to the natural gas network. So the production of biomethane is approximately 260 tons per year, which corresponds with this kind of passenger car and consumption about 200 cars. And it means about 25%, or let's say 1/3 of the passenger cars using gas in Finland. But this kind of plants are under construction, or at least one plant is under construction now. So then the comparison in my results was to the using of natural gas or gasoline. Here we have then other kind of comparison, because other question is it sensible to use the biogas for transportation for the vehicles, or is it more sensible to use it for heat and power production? And in the study of Ville Uusitalo, it was shown that the CO2 reduction potential is as good for biogas usage in the gas-operated cars as it is in the CHP production. So it is shown that it is a very good option for the biogas usage. Okay, this is the conclusions of the study. It is possible to reduce significantly the personal greenhouse gas emissions by using a gas-operated car and biomethane as a fuel. The biomethane production is increasing in Finland and also globally. Biomethane production usually doesn't use food crops, which is some kind of ethical problem in the bioethanol and in biofuels for the vehicles usually. If we use waste digestion, then we get biogas from waste, and it's ethically very good option. Fuel costs are about 30% lower than with gasoline, and in South Finland it is quite easy to drive without gasoline usage. Of course, you have to know the places where to fill, and the navigator memory helps in finding the places in other parts of Finland. Driving distance with one filling is about 300 to 500 kilometers, and then I have the possibility, or there is this gasoline tank, and the supply of fuel is switched automatically to gasoline when the tank is empty of gas. But the first fuel is always gas. Gas-operated cars are widely used in the world, so the technology is tested. There are not problems, much more problems than in gasoline cars. And the car, this kind of a car as a new, is about 1,500 euros more expensive than diesel car. This is very approximate because it wasn't easy to compare the prices, but it is not very much higher price for the car. And I bought this as 2-year-old, so it is even possible to find used cars in gasoline. Okay, references here.